Die Hard is the first movie in the Die Hard series. It was released on July 15, 1988, and was written by Jeb Stuart and Stephen E. D'Souza and directed by John McTiernan. It was a huge critical and commercial success with a box office earning of $139.8 million. In this video we will be discussing the character and how do they look then in the movie and how do they look now in real life. Bruce Willis, as John McClane Sr. is an Irish-American detective lieutenant with the New York City Police Department. He also briefly worked for the Los Angeles Police Department. He has been a police officer since 1977. He is separated from his wife, Holly Gennaro McClane. Bonnie Bedelia, as Holly Gennaro, formerly Holly McClane, is the ex-wife of John McClane. She and John McClane were married in New York, where John was a police officer. They had 2 children together, Lucy and John Jr. Holly moved to Los Angeles several months earlier to pursue a career that John ultimately thought would fail, leading to their separation. Reginald Veljensen, as Sergeant Al Powell, is an LAPD cop that helps John McClane with the terrorist takeover of the Nakatomi Plaza. Sergeant Powell was radioed to investigate after the emergency call sent by McClane. Sergeant Powell had been on desk work after he accidentally shot and killed a child who was carrying a toy ray gun. Paul Gleason, as Deputy Chief Dwayne T. Robinson, is a stubborn and stern policeman of the LAPD who is overseeing the Nakatomi Plaza takeover by Hans Gruber. He doesn't believe there are hostages since they have not been given any demands. Sergeant Al Powell convinces him that they have an ally in saving the hostages. Paul Gleason passed away on May 27, 2006, at the age of 67 due to a form of lung cancer connected with asbestos. Devereaux White, as Argyle, was the limo driver assigned to pick up John McClane from Lax and transport him to the Nakatomi Plaza for the Nakatomi Corporation's 1988 Christmas party. At Nakatomi Plaza, Argyle offered to wait in the garage until John knew for certain if he was riding home with Holly or if he needed other transportation. William Atherton, as Richard Thornburg, is an arrogant, irresponsible reporter who caused significant trouble for John McClane and his wife Holly. He and his news team drive to the Nakatomi Plaza to cover the story. He drives over to Holly's house, where he threatens the maid, Paulina, asking to let him interview the children after knowing background information about John McClane. Hart Bochner, as Harry Ellis, was a sleazy businessman working for the Nakatomi Corporation. A cocaine user, Ellis arrogantly attempted to assist Hans Gruber in betraying John McClane. To save his own life, Ellis says that McClane should give himself up so the terrorists can negotiate with the LAPD and everyone can leave. James Shigeta, as Joe Takagi, was the president of Nakatomi Trading. Takagi was initiating operations of the Nakatomi Corporation in Los Angeles and hosted a Christmas party for the corporation's employees at the newly constructed Nakatomi Plaza on Christmas Eve when a group of terrorists seized the building to steal millions in bearer bonds. James Shigeta passed away on July 28, 2014, at age 85 in Beverly Hills. Alan Rickman, as Hans Gruber, is an internationally feared German terrorist. He was the mastermind behind the Nakatomi Plaza heist, where he used a gang of heavily armed terrorists to take over the company's Christmas party and attempt to steal $640 million in negotiable bearer bank bonds. Hans disguised this as a terrorist incident to distract the police from their robbery. Alan Rickman passed away on 14 January 2016. Rickman died in London, aged 69 due to pancreatic cancer. Alexander Godbunov, as Karl Vareski, was a German terrorist thief and Hans Gruber's second-in-command. He was Tony's older brother who wanted to kill John McClane by himself to avenge his brother's life. He disguised himself as a hostage with a blanket and tried to kill John and Holly and got shot by Sergeant Powell. Alexander Godbunov passed away on May 18, 1995, at the age of 45 due to complications from hepatitis. Andreas Wisniewski, as Tony Vareski, was one of the German terrorists employed by Hans Gruber to disable the phone lines at Nakatomi Plaza. The first terrorist that tried to kill John McClane was Karl Vareski's younger brother. Clarence Gilliard Jr., as Theo, was one of the terrorists and the sole computer hacker in Hans Gruber's group that attacked Nakatomi Plaza. Theo locked down the building's elevators from the 30th floor down, except for the service elevator. He then closes the parking lot gates and shut off the escalators by proceeding into the building's computer system. Lorenzo Caccialanza, as Marco, was an Italian terrorist employed by Hans Gruber, helping to plant C4 explosives on the roof of the Nakatomi Plaza building along with Heinrich and Yuli during the group's attempt to steal the $640 million in bearer bonds locked in the Nakatomi vault. Dennis Hayden, as Eddie, was an American terrorist and one of the key members in the Nakatomi Plaza heist. He managed the desk in the main lobby of the building and puts on the Nakatomi blazer jacket to appear as one of the building's security guards. Al Leong, as Yuli, was a Chinese terrorist employed by Hans Gruber during the Nakatomi Plaza takeover. Yuli ushered all of the hostages to the roof's helipad and followed them up to lock them on the roof so they couldn't escape when Hans detonated the C4 they planted under the roof earlier. If you like this video, press the like button and subscribe our channel for more videos like this.